Hey guys, it's Jazara. In Super Smash Bros. Tournaments, only one person can come out on top, unless you're playing doubles of course. And since only one person can come out on top, you can see why you'd want to stay in the winner's bracket. While everyone loves a good loser's run, the benefits of being in the winner's bracket are pretty clear. Being less stressed can definitely be a big factor for a lot of people, but I would personally say it's the amount of matches that you have to play that makes it different. Mental stamina is huge. If you lose before top 64 and want to win a tournament, you would have to win over 10 sets. And not everybody can handle that. It's not impossible, but it would take an extremely talented and patient player with a huge motor. When it comes to Smash Ultimate, which is what we'll be discussing today, some losers' runs stand out among the rest. Recent runs like Sonic's run to first place at CEO 2022 or DeBuzz's 4th place finish at Double Down, or even past ones like Zachary's first place run at the Big House 9 or Umabara SP7 immediately come to mind. But there's one run in particular that stands out among the rest. MKLeo's run to first place at Frostbite 2020. After recently being crowned back-to-back #1 on PGRU Season 1 and Season 2 rankings, MKLeo had solidified himself as the king of Smash Ultimate. In the closing 3 months of 2019, MKLeo won Smash Ultimate Summit in SoCal, Canada Cup 2019 in Alberta, Canada, VCA 2019 in Austria, and Congo Saga also in SoCal. Going into 2020 though, he was inactive at the beginning of the year, with his first tournament back being Genesis 7. He got second at this event with Joker, losing to Samsora in winter semis, then defeating Meister, Esam, and Samsora in the run back before falling to Mars Zero Suit Samus in Grand Finals 3-0. Leo was hungry for his first S-tier win in the PGRU's 3rd season. Frostbite 2022 is a more stacked tournament than Genesis 7 was, so the hype going into the tournament was huge. Mars had won the last S-tier tournament, so while Leo was looking like the favorite, players like Samsora, Tweak, Mars, and the large group of Japanese players who came more out of the conversation to beat the king. Leading up to this event, there were 5 tournaments that were considered majors: Let's Make Big Moves, EGS Cup 3, Glitch 8, the aforementioned Genesis 7, and EVO Japan 2020. And we only saw one of those events taken from the loser side, which was Nairo at Let's Make Big Moves with his own legendary losers run. The event started out like any other for Leo, sweeping through round 1 pools, and coming into top 96 having only dropped 1 game to the Canadian Sonic and Kirby main Supergirl Kells. What we witnessed next in round 1 of top 96 was a Mario vs Joker master class.
Not getting anything off of his gun attempts too. I mean, I like the downward angle guns, but that's just, that's just ain't it.
Oh no!
Into that back air.
Oh, I love that. Great patience, yes. Yo, he is going in on MKLeo. Is that a double toe?
What the hell? Whoa. If there was ever a time, excuse me, for MKLeo to strike and bring it back, it's certainly now. Only 46, 53%.
What just happened?
NorCal Mario made Kurama, formerly known as Prodigy, previously ranked number 37 on the Spring 2019 PGR, was unranked at the time. So it was huge that he netted himself a win on PGR #1 and a guaranteed spot to top 24. He eventually lost to Neotona 3-0 and Matty 3-1 for 17th place. Back to MKLeo. Immediately in loser's bracket, he faced top Canadian Zero Suit Samus and legendary Wi-Fi tournament farmer King Chris and beat him 3-0. He then defeated ranked number 30 Salem 3-1 to earn himself in the top 24 losers side. First round at top 24, he faced Dark Wizzy. Mario main ranked number 22 was generally seen as a better Mario than Kurama. A lot of people were expecting the upset on Leo. Wizzy had been on the come up around this time and had just came off of a top 8 at Genesis. The upset wasn't out of the question for him. But what none of us knew was that Leo was about to become unstoppable. Destructive 3-0 over Dark Wizzy, the opposite of what had happened in the previous set, including an amazing sequence to end a 3-stock in Game 3. Next was Samsora. Fresh off a 3-2 win over Gluttony, the PGRU #2 ranked player was on the receiving end of one of the weekend's other biggest upsets when he fell 3-1 to Toast to make top 24. Leo took the set 3-0 over the Peach Master in convincing fashion. Leo then had to go against #4 ranked player Nairo in an all-time hype set, showing off Leo's Joker versus Nairo's Palutena. The 2 set count was 3-7 in Leo's favor, and Leo had won their last 2. It was an extremely tough fought set from both players, with a lot of unfortunate stuff happening to Nairo in some close situations near the end of the set, but that's the Leo plot armor for you. Leo was able to bring this home and secure himself a spot in top 8. This brings his win over top 30 players to 4 and top 5 players to 2 so far in the losers bracket, all before reaching top 8. If he had beaten Kurama and won 5 sets through winners, he could have won the tournament through winners side by now. Now 5 sets is just getting him into top 8. Top 8 saw him face off against Japan's number 1 and number 7 in the world, Jazara, in an intense set. The two had played 2 times before, at EVO 2019 where Leo 2-0'd Zacharay's Wolf, and Super Smash Com where Leo's Joker faced off in a legendary set against Zacharay's Wolf and Rob. Zacharay decided to stick with the Rob, a character he had been using for the last 3 sets in bracket. Zacharay was able to take game 1 on Town and City with a cross-up up air on Leo's shield, into a jump call out up tilt up air kill confirmed to take the stock at 110, clean. Game 2 on Pokemon Stadium saw Leo take an early lead and hold it. He took the game with a mid% 1 stock. Game 3, Zacharay dominated on Kalos, using Rob's amazing boxing tools and great edge guarding tools like Dare, 2-frame, and Gyro Snipe off stage to be able to consistently take Leo's stock before he got too high in percentage, taking his last stock with a crazy setup. Game 4 saw the legend of Game 4 Leo get solidified. He was down on Town City, 2 stocks to 1, he was able to play amazing advantage on Zacharay with his last stock, barely allowing him to play the game at all. Leo clutched it out and won with an almost JV2 stock in Game 5. The next set versus DeBuzz in losers quarters saw the King of New York face off versus the King Ultimate. DeBuzz, ranked number 9 in the PGRU V2, is one of North America's most consistent tournament threats. DeBuzz had been beaten the month prior at Genesis 7 3-1 at winners quarters using his Olimar. In fact, DeBuzz was 0-7 versus Leo coming into this event, and the streak continued. While DeBuzz was able to keep it close with his masterful Rosalina gameplay, Leo's Joker was too much for one of the US's finalists to handle. After a great comeback by Leo on Final Destination Game 3, he won the set and was able to earn himself a ticket to loser semifinals. Loser semifinals versus T was one of the most intense sets of the tournament. The now Pac-Man Kazuya main used to be a good person and just played Pac-Man, but now he switched over to the DLC side. The number 12 on PGRU V2 had just come off a win versus Wrath after falling to Tweak in winter semis, and came into this set looking for blood. The two had played 2 sets previously, where Leo had taken both 3-1. Game 1 had everyone thinking Leo was going to steamroll T, not letting him get out of disadvantage at all on his last stock, killing him extremely early. Game 2 on Town and City saw T flip the script on Leo, and while he was able to bring it back to a last stock situation, T was able to keep his composure and get the parry into Bell F smash to steal out the game. T dominated Game 3 on Pokemon Stadium, starting off the match with a crazy string to 80% and then a kill confirmed sub 100. T had the momentum right from the jump. T's strategy was to sit under the platform and near the ledge behind Hydrant, charge his bonus fruit and stuff out Leo's approaches. Leo was able to get a stock, but that wasn't enough. T won the game with a 2 stock, getting a sneaky apple throw in at the end. I think most of us know by now how this is going to go. Game 4 Leo. Leo and T traded for stocks, and T had a good beginning to the stock, but Leo was able to take the lead once he gained Arsene. Leo was able to say, forget all this pressure, forget that I'm down 2-1 and have already played 7 sets in losers, I'm locking in and winning this. He slowed down the pace a bit and began to wait a lot more for his kills, getting 2/3 of his kills by whiff punishing Pac-Man's slow options. Game 5 saw them back on Pokemon Stadium and T with an early lead. But after a Hydrant push got them both off stage, Leo went for all the way down there and got T with the Arsene back air, decimating Pac-Man's stock below 70%. With Leo's insane momentum from the last game, T was having a hard time finding his big openings in neutral how he did earlier, until he hit a big fair into Bell up smash conversion to take Leo's second stock. Neutral exchanges back and forth made it hard to know who was going to come out on top. T got Bell and was looking to finish it off. Once he lost it, Leo saw the opportunity and decides to go in. Leo up smashes. T tries to F smash in reply. Leo shields. Leo punishes with a down smash and takes the set 3-2 over T. Losers finals saw 2 of the best players in the world, arguably the top 2, Tweak and Leo face off. Tweak, PGR U2 ranked number 3, was on a 7-set losing streak versus MKLeo. After winning their first 2 sets of the previous year's Frostbite, Tweak was looking to repeat his luck from last year, but with a character that he hadn't tried versus Leo, his Wolf. The set started off on the Ultimate Classic Pokemon Stadium 2. MKLeo started off with an early lead, but after a 6 stock from Tweak, he was able to take the lead. Game 2 saw a similar back and forth, going down to the wire. Last stock, Tweak was able to punish Leo's empty landing and took it with the up smash. Leo wasn't unfamiliar with making reverse 3-0s against Tweak, but with how Leo had been playing earlier in the bracket and how Tweak was able to win the first 2, started to seem unlikely for our hero. Game 3, we started to see the dominant Leo from earlier in the bracket though. He finished with a low percentage 1 stock, taking Tweak's last stock at 202%. Game 4, Leo started off the game strong, taking Tweak's first stock and almost second stock before Tweak was able to find an up smash, killing Leo at 133%. Tweak fishes for a big opening and Leo catches him with a short hop fair, drag down up air, down smash to seal out the second stock. Leo took Tweak's last stock off 2 interactions and a read and disadvantage, finishing the game with a mid% 2 stock over Tweak. Up to this point, they had only been playing on Pokemon Stadium 2, but Tweak decides to switch it up and counterpick the last game, Ghost Town and City. The counterpick didn't go so well for him. While the beginning of the game started off pretty close, once Leo took the first stock, it was as good as done. He nearly 3-stocked Tweak. Leo was able to adapt amazingly to Tweak, and as the set went on, we started to see him abuse Wolf's recovery and escaping more of his low mid-percentage mix-ups. Meister had been looking dominant coming into Grand Finals. With wins over Dark Wizzy, Toast, The Buzz, and Tweak, he had quite the run himself. Unfortunately for Meister, he had to run into his bracket demon in the finals. Meister was 0-7 versus Leo coming into this event, only ever taking him to Game 5 one time. Leo didn't let Meister breathe. While the first few games were close, Leo took over and got the bracket reset 3-0 with a 2-stock Game 3. Meister tried the Pichu Game 1 of the second set, which didn't seem like a bad idea at the time. Pichu was generally seen as a worse matchup for Joker than Game & Watch. The match started out well for him taking the first stock, but Meister began to become telegraphed and desperate. Meister gets it to 1 stock apiece, but the Joker got in his rhythm and Meister couldn't win neutral, eventually dying to a double side B off the top. Game 2, he switches back to Game & Watch on Smashville and gets 2-stocked by the Joker. Game 3, Leo brought out a familiar face that we would get to know a little later on and eventually become his main, Byleth. Looking back, the Byleth here should have been a sign that the character was good. Leo was super cracked with them. He ends up taking the game with a mid% 2 stock, taking Frostbite 20-20 from the loser's side. In the process, he won 11 sets in losers, beating number 2, number 3, number 4, number 6, number 7, number 9, number 12, number 22, and number 30 in the world. This goes down as not only the greatest losers run in Ultimate, it's most likely the greatest run in Smash history and one of the greatest in esports history. Period. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I'm a small creator with the goal to help grow the competitive Smash scene through some different styles of content, including tournament recaps, interviews with up and coming and established players, and stories from our series Rich History, along with some other fun stuff thrown in between. I would appreciate any support on the video, a like, subscription, comment, or just sharing the video with a friend. Until next time.